Rev up your engines! Okay, check this out. That is the bottom of the transmission on a brand new 2024 Honda Odyssey. And one of you viewers sent me that picture and said, Scotty, what's wrong? This is all cracked like this. What should I do? Well, you know what I do? I go right back to Honda and say, I don't want this vehicle. The tranny's all cracked on the bottom. Unless they're willing to replace it when it shows the quality of Honda's going down the toilet. To sell somebody something like that, you can see it is a flaw. Now, those are aluminum, so I'm assuming it's some type of cast, and they were cast incorrectly. You can see all the cracks. And he says, it's not leaking yet. I'm like, you just paid all that money for a brand new 2024 Odyssey, and it's cracked like that? I would take it right back to them and say, give me another vehicle or put another transmission in this thing, because that is all cracked up. And that's what you can see. Imagine what's going on the inside part you can't see. It just goes to show you the quality of these companies is going down the toilet. They sell people these things. And of course, if it wasn't for somebody like me calling this out, if she went, they'd just say, oh, no, those are just superficial imperfections. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. See, I always tell people that because they don't want to have to replace. If you've got a Honda Odyssey and you got the same problem, send me a picture of it. And if there are a bunch of you out there, hey, start a class action suit against Honda. This is how you get even with these companies. You say, look, these are all cracked. They're going to have problems, and they would have to replace them when enough people complain. To the Highway Traffic Safety Association, I believe it's .gov. You complain enough, they open an investigation and finds out they're all cracked like that. Guess what? Then they're going to have to fix them for free. But the fact that they're selling these things like that, anybody could look under there and assembly and say this thing's all cracked up. But they don't care anymore. Well, when Volkswagen comes out with the Scout, they claim it's going to have a 500-mile range because it has a gas generator and it costs less, too. They claim they're going to sell them for $50,000. Cybertrucks start at $79,900, so it's a lot cheaper. But they're going to have a built-in gasoline generator, so when the electricity goes out, that kicks in and you can drive around. Smart move, Volkswagen, especially if somebody wants to take them off-road. Hey, you got a gasoline tank you can run. You don't have to worry about stuck with just no electricity left. The whole idea of just having only electricity is stupid. You always need some kind of backup system. Come on now, it's just plain stupid. That's a very logical thing for Volkswagen to do. I think that's a smart move. They didn't put in an engine and a transmission and all that crap like in a hybrid that cost a fortune. They just added a generator that runs on gasoline. And then you can drive because the electricity is being generated to drive the car and charge the batteries. Makes total sense to me. Now, it's bad enough they're trying to push electric cars on us. Now they're trying to push electric boats. There's a company called Naviair, and of course, it's in California. They delivered their first Naviair N30 electric hydrofoil boat. It only held 6 people. Now it's like 29 feet long, has electric motors on the back. And you look at the picture, they made the 2 electric motors look like regular outboards. I guess they want to pretend they're regular boats, right? They claim it has a range of 100 nautical miles, but they said at cruising speed it's like 70, supposedly, then when you get stranded, right? And of course, these things are outrageously expensive. In the article saying they delivered it, right? They didn't mention anything about the price. So I looked it up. Well, they started almost $400,000. So you price a boat in that range that's a gasoline motor, it's a heck of a lot less than that. They give you this nonsense. They say, oh, it's cheaper to run because you just have to charge up the electric batteries instead of buying gasoline. Since they started 400,000 smackers, you're not saving any money, you know? So, again, we got this niche thing in California of electric boats. And interestingly enough, at the same time they announced this, another company called Pure Watercraft just went bankrupt and they made electric boats. Pure Watercraft had a pure pontoon electric boat. That was on the West Coast too, but it was higher. Seattle. They're now liquidating the assets of Seattle-based electric boat company Pure Watercraft. It was even backed 25% by General Motors. Back in 2021, they put some money into it, $150 million. And now, sadly, the money is gone, and so are the Pure Watercraft electric company. They're not making any more electric boats. It's just typical, especially General Motors, right? Corporations, they're dead from the neck up. Any idiot that knows anything about boats, pontoon boats, watercraft, is electric boats don't fit what these people want. Just like electric pickup trucks don't fit what the regular pickup truck people do. Yeah, there's loonies out there that, oh, I got a Tesla. Now I want to get an electric truck. So they go out and buy an electric truck. The people who buy regular trucks, don't want electric trucks, and they're not buying electric trucks. Ford can't even give away their F-150 Lightnings. The prices are dropping. Chevrolet can't even give away their electric Silverados. I saw one the other day. It was over a year old, still a new vehicle, and the price had dropped 30 grand already. People don't want them. And electric boats, people don't want them either. So, stupid company in California, yeah, they just delivered their first boat, had 400 grand up. Yeah, they're not going to sell like hotcakes, right? The one in Seattle, it's bankrupt, interesting enough. One made a new one, another one goes bankrupt. These things are not ready for prime time. And they don't fit what people want. Cruising around in their boat, having fun, not worrying about running out of electricity, and somebody with a regular gasoline boat will have to tow them back. These companies, they sucker people, they sucker GM, threw in $150 million. That went down the toilet, right? You really wonder about the choices these people make in business. Well, here's a little interesting technology I kind of wondered about myself. You know, cryogenics, where people would die, they'd have their bodies frozen and hope they can be reanimated in the future. Most of the people who've had them frozen, unfortunately, their fate is a bit grim, as in they're defrosting, melting, and then they got to destroy what's left. Now, they don't just sell the body in a freezer. Of course, they try to cool it down slowly so they don't destroy the tissues and stuff. But what happens over time? Who's paying for this? Well, when the money runs out, so does the body freezing. Now, one company, they used liquid nitrogen, freezing the body. This guy had one of these Dewar capsules. They call them Dewar, D-E-W-R. It's a company that makes them, with 4 patients. And he put them all in and put them in a vault. He stayed there for a while, but then, unfortunately, this guy who ran the company, Nelson, stopped getting money from the relatives of the patients, and boop, he pulled the plug. Patients were thawed out by Nelson when the liquid nitrogen system in one of them failed. This wasn't even the one that he had turned off. This is one that had failed. And a 6-year-old boy who was frozen in 1974 ended up being thawed out and buried because they found his body had cracked. Yeah, you're frozen for all those years, right? Things that get frozen often crack. Ice cracks all the time, right? And even worse, in New Jersey, doesn't this figure what happened in New Jersey? The Dewar machine that was used to hold the body was designed poorly and had uninsulated pipes. So the patients partially or fully thawed on one or more occasions, and then they refroze them. Kind of like, you don't want to refreeze your meat, thaw, freeze it again and eat it. Well, in this case, you're not going to revive anybody. And then a year after it first happened in New Jersey, where they thawed and then they froze them again, it failed and the bodies just decomposed into liquid goo. I guess nobody was watching. And they had to scrape the goo out and then get rid of it. Bury it, whatever they did, right? As one person who had one themselves for their family members said on Reddit, I didn't notice my freezer had gone out till it started to get really smelly. So, let's face the facts. When you're gone, you're gone. Don't have your body frozen. I doubt if they're ever going to be able to reanimate people, especially from a person who's dead anyways. You died for a reason, right? And all that frozen isn't going to do you all that good. We are not like those crazy fish that have antifreeze in their blood and can be partially frozen. We're completely different. There's no such thing as immortality, so let's face the facts. I wouldn't waste my money having my body frozen when I conk out. That's just the way it goes. But kind of horrible, these things that have happened to it. I mean, oh, well, they ran out of money. Well, pull the plug on that one. Who's going to pay for this stuff forever, you know? Well, if you want to get a sore butt, try this flight. It's the longest commercial nonstop flight ever. It went from Dallas, Fort Worth, all the way to Australia. It's the longest direct flight in American Airlines commercial aviation. And 8,300 miles nonstop from Dallas, Fort Worth to Australia. Man alive, sitting there for 16 hours, I think I would go insane. I know my wife would. She can barely do 3-4 hours. One part of the United States to another in a plane. 16 hours, I don't think I can handle it either. Although I can sleep on a plane. She can't. I'm one of those people. Out I go. She'd just be sitting there the whole time fidgeting for 16 hours, and it would be crazy by the time you landed. But they made it. It was Boeing 787-9, and it was the inaugural nonstop between Dallas, Fort Worth, and Australia. Now, the plane holds 285 people, but they didn't mention how many they were, so obviously it was not sold out, because if it was, they would have mentioned it, right? And of course, they celebrated it with koalas. When you took off in Dallas, they gave the people a gift bag that had a koala plushie, a commemorative postcard, and a voucher for a free koala moment at the Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary in Brisbane, where you get to have a one-on-one time, I guess, with a koala. If you don't mind sitting for 16 hours, whew, I don't know, I think it would drive me insane. I know it would drive my wife insane. Long flight, they made it, but how many people are going to be sitting there for 16 hours on their fannies? So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, Remember to ring that bell.